The YouTube algorithm. There, I've said it. You know by now that I am somewhat obsessed by, amongst other things, YouTube. And so every time I go online, every time I open a newspaper, I read something about YouTube and the YouTube algorithm. With over 1 billion users, YouTube is one of the biggest online platforms. It brings together content makers, video makers, and viewers, and the company itself, YouTube, cushions itself in the middle. Now, as a contributor and a viewer, I can intuitively say that what I think YouTube wants most of all is to have as many people on its platform at any given time. And to do so, it needs to maximize watch time. Maximizing watch time requires, of course, content. Quality content at best, but more importantly, I think relevant content, relevant according to a particular targeted audience. Now, when I upload a video on YouTube, I can do so how and when I want to. There are certain rules I need to follow. I cannot promote hate speech. I cannot make publicity for a terrorist attack, obviously. But I get technical support from YouTube, and at no time does YouTube come and say, well, you know, that particular video, well, we didn't really like it, so we're taking it off the channel. On the other hand, YouTube does not promote my videos. So if I want to get up in the YouTube ranking, I have to improve what I call my self-generated numbers. Now, the golden standard of these numbers has for a very long time been subscriptions. Subscriptions is the golden calf. It is the nec plus ultra. And subscriptions, it's a bad term, especially on YouTube, because it implies fee paying, and subscription on YouTube is free. Now, the more subscriptions you have, the more you get perks, and this means eligibility. The more you have subscriptions, the more you'll be eligible to, for instance, a monetization. But there are other parameters at work, and this is where these algorithm aficionados come in, and they see the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, not just as a search and discovery tool. They see it as an obscure piece of coding that we need to break, code we need to break, and we need to manipulate in order to be more successful, to get more views, to get more popular, more notoriety, and thus make more money. I have begun to suspect that the basements of the YouTube offices and headquarters are filled with geeks, armies of geeks, who are just adding more and more code to an already expansive algorithm that is made just to keep mere mortal contributors like me in the dark on the road to fame. I don't know. I like to believe in a YouTube meritocracy. I like to believe in great content and a discerning audience. Now, this is a very fragile argument, I know. What is great content? And is the audience always discerning? I mean, historically speaking, we know that audiences very often favor bread and games. There are other questions that we need to ask ourselves. Does the internet in general, and YouTube in particular, need guidance? Does it need a curator? And then there's the question of highbrow versus lowbrow. Let me give you an example. KSI, this is a guy I had never heard of before. He's a boxer, he's a video blogger, and he's a gamer. He churns out about 40 videos a month, and each video averages about 2 million views. So this guy is very successful, good on him. And whatever the algorithm, he nailed it. Now, of course, the gaming audience is much more present on YouTube than, let's say, the fans of Proust. But still, this is a bit of a, what I like to call a Jordan Peterson eat your heart out moment. Now, you all know Jordan Peterson. He's a scholar, he's an academic, he's an author, he's a speaker, he's a lecturer. He's very controversial. You can love him, you can loathe him. He has obtained a lot of notoriety thanks to a disastrous interview on Channel 4 with Cathy Newman, which was more disastrous for Cathy Newman than for Peterson. Now, Peterson's latest book, 12 Rules for Life, has sold more than 2 million copies by now. This is unbeknownst to the New York Times bestseller list. I mean, that's another story. 2 million copies for a book like that is a lot, but in absolute numbers, it is still the same as the number of views KSI gets per video. Now, I know that I'm comparing apples and pears here, but it still says something about this meritocracy audience balance. So I'm obsessed with YouTube, and I follow a number of YouTubers. I like to follow, for instance, Neistat. He's a pioneer of YouTube. He's very talented, he's energetic. I'm not part of his targeted audience, I'm sure, but I like him nevertheless. And he has changed online, and he sometimes has had to change gear when he said, I'm going to do this, and then it didn't work out and I had to do something else. And this reminds me, when you read about YouTube, you very often read about how fragile YouTubers are, and I suppose that in a way they are, because they are content makers, they are artists, they are their own artistic director, they are CEO of their own little company, and their company sells a brand, and that brand is actually themselves, their persona. They also pit themselves against other very successful YouTubers, and so they are fragile, and the risk is that their failures will be made public instantaneously. That being said, starting your YouTube channel is a free option. If you want to talk about stress, I think you should talk about people on minimum wages, single parents. The baker has to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start baking bread. But anyway, Neistat, he has recently obtained 10 million subscribers, which leaves me with 9,999,990 to go. But who's counting? I don't lie awake of these numbers because, as you know by now, I believe in meritocracy. And that's my story. As always, I would like you to use the comments box below. As always, I hope that you will share, like, and subscribe. And this time, I would like to ask you to watch this video, watch my other videos, because, as you know by now, it's all about watch time.